Robbins, and for the last year, I have had the pleasure of serving as the chairman of the board. Each of you has come to the annual member meeting today to take an active part in your cooperative. On behalf of your board of directors, I'm pleased to welcome you. At this time, I call the meeting to order. In just a moment, I'm going to invite Director Janet Teeter to come up, and if she wants to start making her way, that's fine. I'd like to take a moment to mention that last August, Ben Ransom, a journeyman lineman out of our Westfield district, passed away unexpectedly while at home with his family. He worked for Tri-County for 15 years and was a close friend and colleague to us all. He left behind a wife, Tiffany, and a young daughter, Anna Marie. We have worked with Tiffany over the past several months to provide support and encouragement to her and her family as they navigate this tragedy. But we ask that you please continue to keep Tiffany and Anna Marie in your prayers as they navigate the future. Now, Director Janet Teeter is going to give the invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Also, we would like to thank our veterans for your service. Your contribution to preserving our freedom is greatly appreciated.
Hello, everyone. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we gather here today for this annual meeting of Tri-County Rural Electric Cooperative, united in purpose to serve the members of this cooperative. We are grateful for the visions of those who founded the cooperative and for the dedication of all employees who work tirelessly to provide reliable and affordable electricity to our community. We ask for your guidance as we make decisions that will impact the lives of our members. Grant us the wisdom, clarity, and unity of purpose as we discuss the business of the cooperative today. May our decisions be guided by your will. May they lead to the continued success and prosperity of the cooperative and the well-being of our members. We thank you for your continued blessings and ask you for your protection over the cooperative and its members. In your name we pray, amen. Now you can join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. I'd like to remind everyone of the purpose of the annual meeting. As stated in the bylaws, this is not a business meeting. Tri-County is governed by a board of directors whom you elect. Business is conducted at the monthly business meeting. Any cooperative member may attend and additionally may address the board at these meetings by following Policy Bulletin numbered 1-3. The purpose of the meeting today is to announce the results of the election of the board of members, approve any reports from the previous fiscal year, and address any other business that was submitted following the proper procedures. As an electric distribution cooperative, we are committed to safety for our employees and our members. Today, we have an EMT on site for our annual meeting. We also have staff positioned on the venue. They are wearing the dark green shirts. If you feel that you are in need of assistance, please raise your hand and someone will help you. If you have any questions during the annual meeting, please raise your hand and an employee will hand you a note card and a pen. Please include your name and contact information along with your question. They will collect those when you are done, and your questions will be answered at the end of the annual meeting as time allows, along with the questions that were put in the Q&A box. So please silence your cell phones and let's continue with the meeting. The Election and Credentials Committee has determined that the ballot box will be closed at 1:15 p.m. for the election of directors from Districts 2, 6, and 8. All ballots for the election must be deposited in the ballot box prior to that time. The ballot box is to the left of me near the stage with the Elections and Credentials Committee. Please raise your hand if you need to place your ballot in the box, and a committee member will bring the box to you. I now ask that the Board of Directors stand to be recognized when I call your name. Your Board of Directors is as follows. District 1, Jerome Cicela. District 3, Michael Filer. District 4, James Davis. District 5, Matthew Whiting. District 6, Alfred Calkins. District 7, and your Vice Chairman, Janet Teeter. District 8, Gerald Arnie Kreiner. District 9, Lowell Geiser, who's also the Secretary-Treasurer. And again, I'm Valerie Robbins from District 2, and I serve as the chairman. The directors' biographies are available on Tri-County's website. At this time, I'd like to introduce our special guests. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the elected officials and other guests who are with us today. Our relationship with our legislators is very important in making the cooperative program successful on a local, state, and national level. Legislators from our areas care about those issues that affect rural America. Without their continued support, our program would not be what it is today. So please join me in welcoming Senator Gene Yaw and Matt Weiss, Morgan Webb and Colin McGuire from PREA, Stephen Alibaugh, the CEO of Claverack Rural Electric Cooperative, Gary Hennep, Chairman of Claverack Rural Electric Cooperative, Casey Wood, Vice President of Communications, C&T Enterprises, Bud Rutherford, Safety Director, C&T Enterprises, Nicholas Andre, Director of IT, C&T Enterprises, Bonnie Calkins, Director of HR, C&T Enterprises, John Likens, CEO of Sullivan Electric Cooperative, Frank Thompson and Melissa Fleming, Northern Tier Regional Planning and Development, and Zach Gates, Bradford County Commissioner. I would now like to ask Lowell Geiser, our Secretary-Treasurer, to give the proof of mailing notice and request action on the minutes from the 2024 annual meeting.
Thank you, Valerie. First of all, I'd just like to say, I think probably today, everybody here at some point this morning has used electricity. And as you being member owners of this electric distribution cooperative known as Tri-County, you guys enabled not only yourselves, but your neighbors, farms, and businesses to have electricity in rural America, and also have the opportunity to offer high-speed internet. And that's something that most big companies wouldn't even do because of our location, because our area covers 5,000 square miles of territory in Tri-County. So thank you and welcome. My name is Lowell Geiser, and I'm proud to be and honored to be your Secretary-Treasurer. On June 9th, 2025, a printed notice of Tri-County's annual meeting held at Alparon Park here in Troy Fairgrounds on July 22nd, 2025, was mailed to each member's address as it appears in the records of the cooperative. Notices were deposited in the United States mail in a stamped sealed envelope. Annual meeting minutes. A copy of the minutes were available at the registration and are available online. Are there any objections to waiving the reading of the minutes? Hearing none, are there any corrections or objections to the minutes? If there are no corrections or objections, the minutes are approved by unanimous consent. Now for the Secretary-Treasurer's report. Each member was mailed a copy of the financial report for 2024 as part of the Penn Lines, and the books of the cooperative were audited this year by our auditing firm, Forvis Mazars, and found to be unsatisfactory with the cooperative operating in a sound financial condition. A copy of that independent report is available for inspection upon request. As part of this process, the auditing firm is granted unfettered access to the cooperative documentation and information, as well as direct communication with management and staff. The auditing firm interviews select staff and board members, which they do at their discretion. We take these matters very seriously, and your board of directors and the cooperative management and staff spend months making sure we are able to present to our members each year that the cooperative is, in fact, operating in a sound financial condition. Your board takes to heart the directive in the bylaws to make reliable electric energy, and related services available to our members at the lowest cost consistent with sound economics and good management. This past year can be counted as a success under those guidelines. Thank you. I'll turn it back to Chairman Robbins.
Good afternoon, everyone. After last year's annual meeting, I had the honor of being elected chair of the Tri-County Board of Directors, and I'd like to start by thanking my fellow board members for the vote of confidence and for their support as I've grown into this role. I'd also like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our co-CEOs, Rachel Hauser and Aaron Young, for embracing the new normal of conference calls from farm trucks and the grace shown by you and our incredible staff when my responses to emails come early in the morning, late at night, or sometimes a little delayed, especially during planting and harvest seasons. To Arnie Kreiner, our immediate past chairman, thank you for your encouragement and guidance. And finally, thank you to my husband, Chris, who always picks up the slack, usually without complaint, when Tri-County's responsibilities pull me away from the farm. Now, I've racked my brain trying to figure out how to give you a chairman's report that's fresh, informative, and maybe a little entertaining. Unfortunately, I wasn't born with the gift of comedy, so unless I knock over the podium or mispronounce something in spectacular fashion, you probably won't be laughing. However, if I do something embarrassing that causes you to laugh, no judgment, because I grew up with a mom who always laughed first and asked if you were okay later. Hi, Mom. Even though my background is in public relations, I am not a polished or confident speaker. This might explain why I became a farmer when I grew up. As a friendly introvert, I'm much more comfortable with people one-on-one, so I'm just going to imagine that I'm having a conversation with each of you. So, have you been reading Pen Lines? If you're like me and read it cover to cover, most of what I share today might sound familiar to you. That's because Tri-County staff does a wonderful job of keeping you informed. Honestly, I could have saved myself some stress and just read you a few articles, or better yet, a few of John Kasem's punchlines columns from the last page. Because, yeah, they're my favorite too. First, some great news. The on-system fiber build we started about 6 years ago is now complete. Every member now has access to high-speed internet. Beyond that, thank you. Yeah, it's great. Beyond that, it's improving our cooperative's efficiency, reliability, security, and communication. You'll hear more details in the President and co-CEO's reports, but here's a highlight. We completed our build 1 year ahead of schedule, and our current adoption rate is 47%, which is well above projections. If you're still on the fence or just not convinced you need it, just consider how fast the world is changing. My sister-in-law is a certified registered nurse practitioner and spent years working in emergency rooms and ICUs and medical offices. Now 100% of her patients are seen online. Have you bought a new household appliance lately? The user manual is probably online because they don't come with paper copies anymore. And have you ever tried to read one of those manuals from a cell phone? It's a nightmare. I used to stop at the local bank every month to pay the farm's federal withholding taxes. Now those payments are made online. Whether we like it or not, the digital world is here to stay. And personally, I'd rather ease into new technology at my own pace than be forced into it when something disappears. Our Trico Connections team has resources and recommendations to support you. In fact, please stop by our display today and talk with one of them if you have questions. Were you a member in 1992 or 93? You may have noticed that you received a credit on your bill or a check in the mail. That's because the board voted to retire nearly $838,000 in capital credits from those years. As a not-for-profit, Tri-County allocates our operating margins, which happen when revenues exceed expenses, back to members, and then use that money to ensure the financial stability of the cooperative. This year, the board allocated just over $1 million in margins, which will be used to support the cooperative until it's retired in the future. One of the things I'm most proud of is the cooperative's concern for community. It's one of the 7 cooperative principles. Everyone at Tri-County embodies a heart for service. From the volunteers helping our communities recover from a weather event like we had last August, the linemen who restore power in the middle of the night, or our staff coaching local Little League teams, their dedication is inspiring. This spring, 2 young men received scholarships to attend a lineman's training program, and the board recently voted to award approximately $68,000 in Sheets funds to local organizations across our territory supporting first responders, youth sports, 4-H groups, and more. We also sent 8 local students on the youth tour this year, where they explored Gettysburg battlefields in Washington, D.C., with other cooperative-sponsored kids from across the country. Past participants often call it the trip of a lifetime, learning about electric cooperatives, meeting members of Congress, and seeing our nation's capital. Behind the scenes, your board has been advocating for issues that matter, like grid resiliency, why it's important to preserve existing generation assets, supporting new energy sources, and promoting responsible forest management, which is especially important in rural territories like ours to prevent wildfires like we've seen out west. We also take our own education seriously. Over the past year, we've attended classes and conferences to ensure that we're equipped to make thoughtful, strategic decisions for the cooperative's future. While we learn from the past, we're always looking ahead, navigating challenges and opportunities to ensure Tri-County continues to provide you with safe, reliable electric and related services at the lowest cost, consistent with sound economics and good management. Thank you again for being here today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time at the fair. It'll be a win for all of us, especially for me, if I can just make it off the stage without tripping, which I've already done a couple times, so there's a better chance every time I do it. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to introduce our co-CEOs, Rachel Hauser and Aaron Young, and ask them to come forward and give their annual report.
You know, Valerie, after you mentioned the not tripping, I watched really closely where every step I took to make sure I also didn't trip. So we are so pleased that you all could make it today. Thank you for coming to our annual meeting and our Member Appreciation Day. This is an extremely important part of being a member of an electric cooperative, and we're thrilled to see you here. Now, Valerie already mentioned our employees, and I just want to use this as an opportunity to thank them once again. You'll see them scattered in and around the pavilion in dark green shirts. And believe it or not, they work for months to prepare for this event and to make sure that it is a great day for you all and that everything goes seamlessly. In fact, they've gotten so great at it, they figured out how to give us this beautiful weather that we have today. So I really appreciate the employees for all of their work. And also, as Valerie mentioned at the beginning of today's meeting, if you do have any questions or comments, please raise your hand and one of our staff will give you a note card and a pen. And if you could put your contact information as well as your question on that, that will help us kind of prioritize and group them together so that we can answer questions as time allows at the end of the meeting. And if you include your contact information, that allows us to follow up with you in case we are not able to get to every question. So as we look back on the past several years, I think we can all agree that change has become a staple in every aspect of our lives, from the pocketbook to public policy to the realities of everyday life in rural America. Change seems to be more commonplace than anything else. And if you can't embrace change, you're at risk of being left behind. In fact, that's the impetus behind so many of our initiatives, all the way from the 1930s until now. From original electrification to the deployment of rural broadband, folks in our area were left asking the question, are we going to get left behind? Well, at the cooperative, we say that answer is no, because we are here to help advocate for the rural America that we all call home. Now, the fascinating thing about a cooperative is that we've long operated with this ideal of sustainable innovation at the forefront, and 2024 was no different. Throughout the past year, we built upon a long history of sustainability with an attitude of, we finish what we start. And if you ask my senior staff how many times I remind them that we finish what we start, what's the status of our projects, are we meeting budget, are we meeting timeline, they're probably going to roll their eyes because I ask that on a regular basis, because that is a really, really important part of the cooperative that we want to make that commitment to you all. In the past year, we completed several critical infrastructure projects in the Morris area in Tioga County, as well as in the Ayers Corners area of Bradford County. Now, those certainly aren't the only projects we did, but they are the most significant in terms of their effect on the membership. And so those projects together will help address some reliability concerns for about 1,500 to 2,000 Tri-County members. But we didn't stop there. We also spent a good portion of last year designing additional infrastructure improvements in the Germania area of Potter County through a substation tie line, as well as the Jackson Center area here in Bradford County. And those projects, we're pleased to report, should be finished with construction this year and should benefit also an additional about 1,500 to 2,000 members. Projects like these are key to improving reliability and shortening outage restoration times. But many of these projects are multi-year projects requiring a high level of coordination with members, other utility and telecommunications companies, and state officials to ensure successful completion. Another critical piece of sustainability and safety is our right-of-way program. Vegetation management continues to be one of the biggest ways that we can reduce safety hazards and outages. We speak each year about vegetation management. You may wonder why I won't give up on this topic. Well, it's because it's a really important topic to each of you, and it's equally important to us. So, how have we built our vegetation planning from past years? Well, in 2023, Tri-County began leveraging what we call an Intelligent Vegetation Management System, IVMS for short, as another tool in our toolbox to more efficiently manage and maintain our rights-of-way. This system may have a fancy name, but ultimately what we are doing is simply capturing imagery of our electric lines to assess the vegetation conditions across our 2,700-mile distribution network. This first ever comprehensive viewpoint of our system allows our staff from the office to see areas of our system where vegetation is growing quickly and threatens our electric lines versus areas with slow growth vegetation. In the past, we relied only on boots on the ground visuals of our system. But to be honest with you, with a 5,000 square mile territory, it's impossible to get a visual of the entire system at the same time instantly. So while boots on the ground continues to be a critical approach and a critical piece to maintaining our vegetation, the addition of this IVMS system ensures that we can stay ahead of potential risks in a more cost-effective manner while continuing to deliver safe, reliable service to our members. As a result of this more focused effort on vegetation management, we have seen a 4% reduction in tree and right-of-way related outages from 2023 to 2024. And that is a metric we're going to continue to track. The system also helped us recognize that in the past year, we also saw a 23% reduction in miles of line at high risk of causing outages. So those figures and those metrics, I'll be honest with you, I'm sure they don't mean a whole lot if you're sitting at home with the lights out, but they do help us see how this long-term planning is setting us up for success both now and in the future. As you all know, we also have focused our efforts on upgrading our metering system in the past 2 years. This innovative project has enabled instant and significant improvements for our members. These new meters provide real-time energy usage data. They use our fiber infrastructure to ensure safe and secure transmission of that data, and each of you now have access to that via your Smart Hub account. This enhanced data not only helps you see and understand your energy consumption each month, but it now allows you readings every hour versus our old meter system, which typically read daily. This not only gives you more information about your personal energy consumption, but it also helps us identify and respond to outages more quickly. How quickly, you might wonder? Well, instead of waiting for a member to call in and report an outage, now we can see the outage occur in real time. So by the time you've called in, we've already identified your meter is out. It's still critical that members call in their outages, but this additional level of detailed data enables us to serve each of you more efficiently and effectively. So what do all these improvements mean to you? In an era of rising costs, we know it's important to make wise investments that will pay dividends in the future. And these projects are poised to help us lower outage restoration costs and make our vegetation management program more efficient without drastically raising costs to do so. As we have navigated rising costs over the past several years, we are pleased to report that we continue to remain competitive in the electric utility marketplace. But we also know how difficult it is for individuals to make ends meet on a monthly basis, especially over the last several years with rising costs everywhere. In the last year, we not only continued to control expenses as much as able, but we also continued existing and created new necessary member assistance programs that will help members in financial need access the resources they need. Perhaps the most significant aspect of an electric cooperative, our concern for community, is what sets us apart from other utilities. Valerie already spoke about some of our donations to local organizations and support for youth education, but I'd like to highlight another critical aspect of concern for community, helping our neighbors in need. We can all remember the intense weather, whether it's here or elsewhere, that changes lives in an instant. In its worst, it can tear communities apart, devastate families, and damage the human spirit. But in our eyes, it can also provide an opportunity to come alongside our friends and neighbors and be the hope and help they need to rebuild. We did this in our own backyard with our neighbors in Westfield, when Westfield and surrounding communities were devastated by flooding from Hurricane Debbie last August. We saw friends, relatives, neighbors, coworkers, literally digging through the mud and destruction to try and find a semblance of home. Our employees eagerly stepped forward, and through boots on the ground and in the Tioga County 911 Emergency Operations Center, they exemplified the heart of your cooperative, people you can count on. Employees volunteered to spend 2 days cleaning out basements, providing necessary supplies to affected residents, serving up hot meals, and working with first responders to help those hardest hit. We weren't asked to do this. Aaron and I were talking, and geez, how do we give back to that community? And so we said, you know what, we're just going to offer the opportunity. I called one of the Tioga County commissioners. They said, absolutely, we'll connect them if they come. And so I sent out one simple email, and I would say within an hour or two, I had 50% of the employee base respond and say, I'll do it, you just tell us where to go. So when we offered that opportunity for employees to give of their time and energy, that overwhelming response confirmed what we already knew. We love this community and were eager to help in any way we could. And we were able to follow up that boots on the ground assistance last August with an additional financial donation to the Prairie Hose Company. And Marty Heiler, I believe, is here today, and I won't make him stand up and raise his hand, but that fire company is located in the heart of Westfield, and they have been the heart of really rebuilding that community. And so we were thrilled that we could offer some additional financial support in addition to workers. A few months later, in October of last year, we would have another opportunity, this time several states away, to help our cooperative neighbors navigate widespread devastation from Hurricane Helene. As raging waters and violent winds pummeled several southern states and cooperative territories were devastated, our linemen eagerly stepped up and volunteered to help with recovery efforts. Several linemen traveled to South Carolina to help Blue Ridge Electric Cooperative in recovering from one of the most devastating storms they had ever experienced. A storm that left over 1,000 broken poles in their territory and nearly 70,000 members without power required a larger workforce than Blue Ridge had. This is where the cooperative spirit shines brightest. Mutual aid from 15 other cooperatives around the country, including Tri-County, meant these members had service restored weeks sooner than they would if Blue Ridge had to manage restoration efforts on their own. This is just one example of the mutual aid program that makes the cooperative such a force for good. Oftentimes, these mutual aid events are closer to home. Perhaps it's aid we need at Tri-County during a large storm, or it's aid we provide to a neighboring cooperative. But wherever the need is, our employees, anyone from the office to the field, responds. And I wanted to take this moment before I transition over to Aaron just to recognize the flooding in Texas. And if you've watched the news, I'm sure you've seen those communities really come together and band together. And when I first saw that happening, I instantly thought of that cooperative spirit. So I think we're seeing this also in other parts of the country as communities work together. And so we continue to keep those communities in Texas and those families in our thoughts and prayers as they navigate forward. So as I transition back to the beginning of my remarks, I discussed this concept of sustainable innovation that is so important to who we are from the 1930s to present. Perhaps one of our more prominent achievements in recent years is our fiber deployment initiative, and I'd like to invite Aaron Young to the podium to provide an update on that. Thank you.
I waited for Rachel to leave to say 3 for 3, not tripping, so. Good afternoon. 2024 marked another milestone year at your cooperative and its subsidiary Trico Connections. As Rachel mentioned, Tri-County has been a reliable partner in bringing electric services to our membership since the 1930s. That's nearly 90 years. That's a long time to continue such a strong commitment to our membership and to our community. But Tri-County has done just that, remained dedicated and steadfast to its mission, to safely deliver reliable, affordable electric and related services to the communities that we serve. With the completion of our final 150 miles of on-system fiber construction in 2024, we marked the culmination of another example of that trusted, reliable partnership. In late 2019, Tri-County began what was perhaps the most ambitious infrastructure project for our membership since the electrification of the 1930s, a project that I will be forever grateful to have been a part of, and a project that I can now proudly say is complete. All our Pennsylvania members now have access to reliable, affordable, high-speed fiber internet from their cooperative. Many called us crazy in 2019, the first electric cooperative in Pennsylvania to take on the challenge of bringing fiber to its membership. And looking back, maybe we were just a little crazy. But we knew if we didn't do it, no one else would. And our membership and electric grid would continue to be left behind in an ever-changing digital world. It isn't every day that someone can say, we built almost 3,000 miles of fiber optic infrastructure to serve the needs of our rural members and enhance our electric grid. 3,000 miles, that is more than enough fiber to span from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean, built in just 5 short years, to ensure our members had access to the connectivity they so desperately needed. An accomplishment of this magnitude takes a strong team, all working together toward a common goal. Once our board of directors made the courageous decision to once again provide a service to our rural members that no other provider would, the planning and implementation of that great vision began. It wasn't always easy. Building 3,000 miles of fiber over some of the most rural terrain in Pennsylvania was certainly a challenge. Crossing rivers, valleys, and mountains became the new normal. Even the occasional run-in with a buffalo or rattlesnake wasn't unheard of. And if anybody wants to hear that story, find me later. But with every new connection, every life that was improved through better connectivity, the team's focus on our mission to bridge the digital divide grew stronger. This achievement couldn't have been accomplished without the amazing and dedicated team at your cooperative, a staff who had their world of providing reliable electric service turned upside down in 2019 and rose together to meet the challenge of deploying an end-to-end fiber optic system. Looking back now, maybe we were a little bit crazy. Trimming hundreds of miles of right-of-way, replacing thousands of poles, connecting member after member in the most rural parts of our territory. That may actually be how another provider would define crazy. It wasn't easy. If it was, someone else would have already done it. But Tri-County rose to the challenge for our members. And not only did we build a state-of-the-art fiber system, we did it well. Not only providing an essential service for our membership, but creating the connectivity to move our electric grid into the future. We have connected over 30 substations, radio towers, and district offices to allow for better communication, enhanced security, and the start of a more resilient electric grid. Fast forward to today, and I'm happy to report that Trico Connections continues to exceed expectations. As Valerie mentioned, 47% of our members now have broadband service from our subsidiary, Trico Connections. That means over 8,500 of you have signed up for fiber broadband service from your cooperative in just 5 short years. That is a great number, beyond initial expectations, and our members overwhelmingly remain happy with the service. We recently compiled the results of our annual Net Promoter Score Survey, or NPS, for Trico Connections. The NPS asked one simple question: how likely are you to recommend this service to your family or friends? The results were overwhelmingly positive, with 87% of you saying that not only were you satisfied with the services you have and your interactions with the Trico Connections team, but that you would actively promote Trico Connections to someone you know. In an industry where the average Net Promoter Score is a 16, Trico Connections certainly stands apart. I believe we have the perfect recipe for success, combining a reliable, affordable, and fast fiber broadband service that you should expect from any internet service provider with the same cooperative philosophy we have had around member care since the 1930s. You heard earlier the many ways our employees dedicate their time in and out of the office to better our communities. From youth coaches to painting homeless shelters to running food and clothing drives, our employees have spent hundreds of hours bettering our communities and helping our neighbors. That's the cooperative difference in action. Trico Connections has allowed us to give back in even more ways than before. Our charity golf tournament this past year raised $24,000 for local charities. This great event has allowed us to raise over $105,000 since its inception for our community members that need it the most. Shortly after our launch of our fiber build, Trico Connections saw a need to enhance digital literacy in our community. As a result, we launched our now award-winning Senior to Senior program. The Senior to Senior program works with local schools and partners, seniors in high school, with senior citizens to promote digital literacy and educate on the safe use of technology for online banking, telehealth, e-learning, and other essentials in our digital world. And if anyone wants more information on the Senior to Senior program, you can stop over to the tent and they have some flyers over there. As you can see, our focus on our community remains strong, and we continue to find new ways to meet the needs of those that we serve. I can't end today without telling you about some new exciting things that Trico Connections has for our members. After listening to our members' feedback, we now have an outdoor wireless solution to extend your Wi-Fi connectivity to your patios, pools, and even get better service to those wildlife cameras in the backyard. And as a thank you for your commitment and support over these last 5 years, we've launched a Commit for 3 and Get More Speed program at Trico Connections. Simply commit to internet from your cooperative for 3 more years and get increased speed at no additional cost. Stop by the Trico Connections tent today after the annual meeting, and they'll be happy to give you more details on how you can increase your speed and get our whole home protection from viruses and malware at no additional cost. Our thank you for your ongoing support. It's been quite a journey these last several years, and I would like to conclude by offering a thank you to our board, to the elected officials who came alongside us to assist and champion our mission to bridge the digital divide, and thank you, Senator Yao. To our employees and to all of you for your ongoing support. And finally, offer a commitment to remain focused on our mission to safely deliver affordable, reliable electric and related services to the communities that we serve. And one last reminder on the note cards, if you have any questions or if you still have a note card that you want to turn in, if you want to raise your hands, somebody will come around and collect those or give you a pen to fill one out. At this time, I'd like to ask Attorney Tara Koenig to come to the podium to review the election procedures and introduce the Election and Credentials Committee.
Thank you, Aaron. One of the primary purposes of the annual meeting is to announce the results of the director elections. Membership election of your board of directors lies at the heart of being a rural electric cooperative. This is just another thing that sets us apart. The bylaws permit any qualified member to be nominated by securing at least 15 valid district member signatures on a petition and submitting the petition to the cooperative 120 days prior to the date of the annual meeting. A committee of members appointed by the board, called the Elections and Credentials Committee, seated over there in red shirts, is charged with the oversight of the director election process. This includes reviewing candidate petitions, validating candidate eligibility, and handling objections or protests related to the election. I work with them throughout the year, and they absolutely take their job very seriously for you all. To be eligible to serve as a director, individuals must be a member in good standing and receive electric service at their primary residence in the district in which they are to represent. A complete description of qualifications as found in the bylaws has been published in Penlines, posted on the cooperative website, and is available to any member upon request. The members of the 2025 Elections and Credentials Committee are Chairman Justin Schaefer, Thomas Soha, Sherry Clark, Nancy Kosa, Deb Galley, Regina Hart, Elwyn Caseman, Jean Fay, and Pam Munford. Thank you to these committee members for their assistance and dedication with the election process. At this time, I would like to ask Committee Chairman Justin Schaefer to come to the podium and announce the election results.
Well, thank you, Tara. Good afternoon, everyone. We, the Tri-County Elections and Credentials Committee, being the duly appointed inspectors of election of directors for the annual meeting of members of Tri-County Rural Electric Cooperative, held on this 22nd day of July 2025, do hereby certify that the elections of directors was fairly and impartially conducted, that we hereby certify that the votes of the members were received by either paper ballot or online voting, and that an impartial third party counted all ballots. This year's director election was for Districts 2, 6, and 8. District ballots were mailed to only those members residing in or being located in the above-mentioned districts. Candidates were District 2, Valerie Robbins, District 6, Alfred Calkins, and District 8, Gerald Arnie Kreiner. All three candidates ran unopposed and received a majority vote. For that reason, on behalf of the Election and Credentials Committee, I announce that Valerie Robbins in District 2, Alfred Calkins in District 6, and Gerald Arnie Kreiner in District 8 have been elected for 3-year terms beginning immediately. All right, and at this time, I would request a motion to destroy the ballots after the passing of 3 working days, given that no protests are received during that interval. Do I have a motion? All right. A second? All right. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
I would like to recognize a group of members, the Member Advisory Committee, which was established to advise the board on matters of concern to the membership and discuss recommendations. If you are interested in becoming a committee member, please contact your director. If there are any of them in the audience, would they please stand? Now I'd like to invite our co-CEOs Hauser and Young to come to the podium and conduct this portion of our meeting and answer any questions you may have.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Valerie. So we had the comment box in the back, as well as obviously a couple opportunities to share questions during the meeting. We did not receive any. Normally I would open it up to the floor for questions, but I've been told by a few of you that you may be here to see Elvis at 2 o'clock. Yeah. And possibly not me. So we are going to close out this meeting, and we will certainly be around, as will our staff, for the rest of the day. So if you do think of a question that you wish you had written down, please come over and catch up with one of us. So thank you so much for coming.
If you've recently joined us and you are a Tri-County member, please remember to visit the Tri-County tent located to my right and register in order to receive your food vouchers. We also have bottles of water available in that tent. And I'd like to let everyone know that there will be a high voltage electric safety demonstration showing fuses blowing, electrical arcs, and explanations of safe electrical practices taking place over at the grandstands at 2:30 p.m. I want to thank everyone for coming, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day at the fair. If there is no further business to come before the members, I ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? This meeting is now officially adjourned.